So, first of all, Merry Christmas. Hope you're having a good one and you're all having a sort of a fantastic day today. But I do realize, of course, I sort of pre-record my videos and one would eventually go out on Christmas anyway. But no, I do hope you're having a fantastic day today. I hope you're enjoying yourself, being merry, etc. And I hope you're all having a fantastic time. And even if you do not celebrate Christmas, I hope you're having a fantastic December 25th and enjoying all the extra holiday paraphernalia that currently is out there and happening today. And of course, to my Fury Feud Japan viewers, hope you're enjoying your KFC today. But um, yes, we did a video yesterday, to about some of the consequences of what would happen if Donald Trump became president. And especially, of course, in 2025, we've talked about the consequences for Ukraine a couple of times. We've talked yesterday about possibly the reigniting of tensions between Serbia and Kosovo that could go on. That certainly Trump would not be able to help with at all. But of course, one of the things is certainly the ongoing tensions currently between Guyana and Venezuela. Because for those of you who don't know, here's the quick TDLR. Venezuela has sort of claimed a large part of Guyana for quite a considerable time. And recently, Venezuela held a referendum in which they asked the populace, hey, so the international court has said you do not have any rights to that land and that, you do not have any claim, but yeah, do you want us to, ignore the international criminal courts? And then once we've ignored the international criminal courts, can we then, go in there and annex the land? And bear in mind, it is quite a substantial part of Guyana they are wanting to take. And of course, in a quote classic Putin move, Maduro, the president of Venezuela, has moved troops to the border for anti-mining exercises or illegal mining exercises to deal with. Meanwhile, of course, they are literally staring at Guyanan troops across the border because the second those Venezuelan troops moved to that, Guyana went, "Yeah, we ain't falling for this. We've all seen what happened to Ukraine when Russia was just doing exercises." So not only are there now Venezuelan and Guyanan troops staring at each other across the border, there are also Brazilian special forces on their side of the border looking at this as well. And we've just had confirmation today that Britain will be sending a patrol ship to do exercises with Guyana, which again, it is hoping will be shown as a show of force to Venezuela that if you do decide you want to, roll those dice, there are going to be quite significant consequences. So, before we go talking more about this, of course, the deployment that Britain has done with the ship, but also what Venezuela's response has been to this ship being deployed as well. Then, of course, we will also talk about how Trump, once again, might make a bad situation even worse. So before we go talking about that, remember, of course, Merry Christmas. But please remember to click on the like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page, one affiliation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can buy me coffee. And of course, as always, thank you very much to all those people who do help and support the channel. And of course, there is the Pony Club, yeah, we've mentioned the Pony Club, but yes, all that stuff down below in the comments. So thank you very much to everyone who does support the channel. And like I say, if you click on the like and share button as well, that does help out the channel as well. So yeah, let's just go over this. Oh, hang on. In the Guardian today, because they covered it, Britain to send patrol ship to Guyana amid Venezuelan border dispute. So a Royal Navy ship will be sent to Guyana as a show of British support for the Commonwealth country. The South American country has a dispute with Venezuela over the mineral-rich border region. Part of the reason why Venezuela wants to take this, not only just because of the huge amount of minerals that are in that section of Guyana, but also the fact that there is also a massive oil depot off the coast of Guyana, which, of course, if they, should we say, were to take, Venezuela could then lay claim to. So, HMS Trent will be sent to take part in joint exercises with Guyana after Christmas. A Ministry of Defence spokesperson said that HMS Trent will visit a regional ally of the Commonwealth partner Guyana later this year as part of a series of engagements in the region during her Atlantic Patrol Task deployment. Tensions over this border region of Esquipulo, I think that's how you say it, were raised at worries about a military conflict, with Venezuela insisting that Esquipulo was part of its territory during the Spanish colonial period and arguing that a 1966 Geneva Agreement with Britain and the country then called British Guyana, now Guyana, nullified any border between the 1899 international arbitrations. The dispute has reignited it, of course, with the discovery of oil in Guyana and escalated it with Venezuela when it voted in a referendum on the 3rd of December to claim over 2/3 of its smaller neighbor. And this is part of the bigger worry because they are taking so much territory, over 2/3 of its territory. What's to stop them just taking it all? Again, as we've said before, this is partly doing a lot of what Putin did in Ukraine. Oh, I'm just going to take this small part. Don't worry. Yeah, now he's claimed a lot more of Ukraine. And if you listen to, if you've seen sort of Russian media and even sort of Putin himself, he's like, no, we're going to take like all of Ukraine's coastline. So, yeah, you can see what we've always been saying is that, if we don't beat Putin there will be worldwide consequences. So, it's pretty important. So the offshore patrol vessel HMS Trent is in Barbados over Christmas and will then head over to Guyana for activities which will be carried out then at sea. The ship is not expected to dock in Georgetown, Guyana's capital, but early this month, the Foreign Office Minister for the Americas and Caribbean, David Ridley, visited Guyana, where he said this border issue has been settled for over 120 years. And the sovereign borders must be respected wherever they are in the world. Ridley said that Venezuela had promised to refrain from any use of force and any further escalation in this dispute. Well, again, that's what Vladimir Putin said as well. He added that the UK would work internationally to ensure that the territorial integrity of Guyana is upheld. MHS Trent is a river-class patrol vessel designed for work including what the government has described as defense diplomacy. So, yeah, as you can see, we would not be sending this ship to Guyana if we did not think there was a serious possibility that Venezuela might just go, tell you what, we're rolling these dice. As Putin seems to be rolling the dice as well. And, there seems to be him, quotes, currently at least some form of substantial gains. And of course, he is waiting quite patiently to continue this war until 2025, which is why we've said before that, the election of Donald Trump would have consequences for Ukraine, potentially, not only here as well, because what is America's sort of policy here with Venezuela? Well, there are a lot of very, very hawkish Republicans when it comes to Venezuela. A lot of very hawkish Republicans who would love no better opportunity than to pretty much almost have a sort of war on their doorstep where they could go into Venezuela and take out what they see as a evil socialist country, and pretty much turn it over to the opposition leader, who is, well, he's a massive oil baron, and would essentially undo a lot of the sort of the socialist progress that Venezuela has made. And this is what is sort of the bad thing. For every sort of bad things there are in Venezuela, there are a lot of good things that do help out sort of the Venezuelan people. But if, shall we say, America gets its way, as if well, sure, actually not America, shall we say, if the American uh, war war hawks of Venezuela get their way, Trump will absolutely, you know, gladly go into Venezuela. That ain't a problem, of course, for him. Which, as we said, would before make a bad situation even 10 times worse. Well, all you have to do is pretty much station an aircraft carrier like we've done here off the coast of, Venezuela, and just say, hey, we're watching you. It's not even a case of you have to go to war, but just that implied threat of, if you even dare step foot in Guyana, you will have to face the unbridled power of, US air power. So that would be a substantial enough threat to deter Venezuela from from making that, should we say, stepping across that border. And like I say, we can only hope here that at least that sort of, us sending that boat is sort of also a signal to Venezuela. Hey, you should not do this, because, well, you wouldn't be tangling with us Guyana. You might have to be tangling with, potentially us as well. So, yeah, unfortunately, as we've said before, Ukraine and its consequences would ripple out across the world. This is one such example of where it has rippled out across the world. And of course, as I know, it's Christmas Day, not a very Christmas thing to be talking about, but unfortunately, as always, international politics does not sleep. This situation is not going away. And of course, as we've said, if Donald Trump should win the presidency next year, there are going to be significant problems around the world and the consequences of his sort of election, because, well, Trump has shown in the past that he will gladly sell US allies down the river if he thinks it's, quote, worth it. Which in a way, massively worrying, as we've said, for many, many, many places throughout the world, if that would happen to sort of, be the case. And there's a lot of, well, dictators and authoritarians literally rubbing their hands at glee at the thought of the stuff they might be able to get away with for the next, 4 or so years, if, shall we say, America's not watching. So happy Christmas. I know that's a bit of a Debbie Downer to end a video on, but yes, like I say, Merry Christmas. And I do hope, as we say, peace on earth and all that time. But sometimes, hey, I think it was Teddy Roosevelt said, sometimes you've got to speak softly and carry a big stick. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. And of course, as always, we'll see you all next time.